Disrespect. The man who had to basically publicly, oh God, go on his live stream, I guess, and admit to the world that he cheated on his wife, is now being confronted by more demons of his past in the context of potentially the miners that he's been mining with. Hello. I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. Holy sh, dude, he's going machismo. Machi, mochi, michi. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. Oh shit. Brace yourselves. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with my Midnight Society and I. Sorry, for context, Midnight Society, you know, Dr. Disrespect's game studio, or, you know, basically one of his companies, they parted ways with Dr. Disrespect, and that's a bit weird because, you know, you'd think he had like a majority stake in the company, right? But no, and that obviously, that kind of like infighting and separating, it implies that maybe Dr. Disrespect wasn't very respectful, you know? We made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. This is a classic case where the stakeholders took a look at what was going on and they were like, you gotta not be associated with our company. And Dr. Disrespect was like, let me say that it was mutual. And they were like, okay, fine. Fine, because you own 30% of the company, fine. You know what I mean? That's exactly what that means. I'm good at reading these things. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families. And I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Hell. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual miner back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual, which obviously means I'm innocent. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. He's basically saying, from what I understand, I sued Twitch because they banned me and didn't want to pay out my contract, and I received money for that. So I kind of, in a way, you know, won, or didn't at least lose that lawsuit, I guess, is what he's saying.
Quando nutri il tuo gatto, nutri l'intera natura. Almo Nature è il tuo regalo quotidiano al pianeta. Almo Nature, tutti i profitti al pianeta.
Ventus, Hungop Tire.
Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Okay, guys, so he's innocent. Now, from a moral standpoint, I will absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. Yes, Mr. Dr. Disrespect. How old was the person, bro? You're saying minor. Is he younger than 17, Mr. Disrespect? That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. He's trying to come off like a real dude. And he probably is a real dude, but this is a lot to be owning up to, man. Alright, let's see. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But I think I've said what I need to say regarding the ban itself, and that's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community in Circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore. But just know you have always been greatly appreciated. But trust me, when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not going fucking anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended fucking vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight on my fucking shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, fucking right. Okay, Mr. Disrespect. That statement got 120 million views. That's a lot of people to see you vaguely state and admit, I guess, to inappropriately messaging a minor. Now, I want to know what the fuck the context of these messages are, right? Because the implication is like, it's a whisper. I don't know what whispers exactly are, right? So whispers on Twitch, I do know roughly, but I don't know the full extent of what you can do with a whisper. But basically the idea is it's like, oh, you can kind of privately message a chatter or potentially another streamer, whatever, within their, chat, okay? And so the idea, that from what I'm understanding, is that Dr. Disrespect was whispering on Twitch, as in only kind of messaging a specific person who happened to be a minor, something inappropriate. And so it's like, was the problem that the minor reported him, or was it that like Twitch was monitoring him and they saw what he was fucking messaging? Because they have like those logs, you know what I mean? Twitch has like that fucking data, it's stored somewhere. This ain't Snapchat, Mr. Dr. Disrespect. And the answer, I have no fucking idea. And I don't know the extent of how bad it was, but I'm imagining that if they were not sexual in nature, as in if they weren't a little bit perverted, these whispers into a minor's ear, I'm imagining that he would have specified that. But let's see what else, hard proof exists here. I'm gonna just take a second, chat. You can let me know what you're thinking. Let me just double check in case anybody fucking don't know. I take my yeah, we're good. Nobody donoed. Yeah, that's a good thing. Let me just see what you guys are saying. That tweet is so emotionally charged. I can get it if in the case people are harassing him regarding the case, he asks for space, but it came off to me as a dramatized repulsion to the comments about him. Yeah, I mean, look, look, he's probably not a pedo. Okay, I don't fucking know him. Whatever, he could be. I don't actually know. But in my mind, realistically, he's probably more into adults or something, at least over 18. But he really didn't specify anything. He says, like, I'm here to talk straight, I'm here to not bullshit. But then he kind of just admits to a bunch of stuff in the most vague way humanly possible. So I don't really know what to think. I think Doc was bigger than EDP, but yes, they're similar. Huh. It's a similar case to EDP? Yeah, I don't know that I would agree with that at all. Whisper was a direct chat in Twitch between two people. Yeah, that's facts. Who else knowingly messages a minor sexually? Well, that's... Okay, so let's... Before we start throwing that around, okay, because we do want to give, I guess, this guy a fair shake, even though he kind of just admitted to it. Let's see. Oh, God. Okay, so there's more, you know, before we get into that, there's more allegations. We're just going to run through these organically, okay? More allegations coming from a trans sex worker who came forward claiming Dr. Disrespect cheated on his wife with them in 2017. This, you know, trans sex worker. The same year he was caught talking to a minor. So this, I'm assuming this 2017, you know, range was basically the Doc's spree, where he was just a horn dog, okay? He was, you know, cheating on his wife, obviously, and kind of seemingly, you know, shopping around. So he says, they go on to show detailed Twitter DMs where Doc was asking for cam shows while promising a partnership in return. He blocked them after receiving the cam shows. So the question would be then, did Doc know that they were trans? The answer is probably yes, but we don't really know. Could have blocked them because he didn't know that. But anyway, here's the alleged messages. Oh,
Been
no,
a busy few
they've been
days,
blocked.
right? Because obviously a big story broke, and I wanted to get my Mario Balotelli shirt, the Why Always Me shirt, ready for this stream, because I have spent the last 3 days, somehow being embroiled in it. And obviously I'm talking about the Dr. Disrespect story. Covering streamer stuff isn't my style, as you know, but because I ended up embroiled in this one, let me just tell you, the past few days, I've been accused of covering up the story. Got accused of covering up what's come out about Dr. Disrespect because of the clip from the Destiny podcast. Apparently, I was in on it the whole time by saying what I said on the Destiny podcast, and I'll play you the clip in a moment. I was denying it, and therefore I've been defending pedophilia or something, so people saying that. I had people saying, you know, you're a coward, you didn't have the balls to break the story. That one, I suppose we can take that on the chin. I didn't have the evidentiary standard to run the story, which I'm not gonna do. I've got a 100% record because I explore everything. I don't publish hearsay, and we'll talk about that. I got accused of being a Democrat operative. Apparently, I was working for the DNC to bring down Dr. Disrespect because I'm part of the Globo Homo agenda, which is true. I worked for Mossad. That's a clip. I worked for Mossad, obviously. Richard Jewish happened again. It's just been crazy. And I'm like, huh. Okay, well, gonna have to kind of talk about all of this. So I spent the last couple of days kind of collecting all of my thoughts and getting all of the clips and all of the bits and all of the stuff. And we're gonna go through it. So essentially, this is, if you really wanted to know about what was going on at the time from a boots-on-the-ground journalist perspective, where we ended up, all of that other stuff, this is the only thing you'll ever need to watch about it, ideally, because there's a lot of noise. And there was a lot of noise at the time, which was part of the problem. So let's start with what has happened. As you know, Dr. Disrespect is one of the biggest streamers ever. He was an iconic streamer because he essentially created a character. He became very popular around Battle Royale games, and then obviously blew up, became this big variety streamer, won multiple Streamer of the Year awards. And then in 2020, while he was riding the height of his fame, he was cut from Twitch, and it was never explained why. And he publicly said, I don't know why. and there's legal happenings going on. And anyway, he went across to YouTube, and he was very bitter about it. Called Twitch Snakes, said they'd never clarified what the reason was, and that, you know, it had cost him millions. And then there was the talk about a lawsuit, and then there was a public tweet where he said, listen, we've settled it now. It's all dealt with, and neither party's going to talk about it ever again. And since then, it has been one of the most speculated upon stories as to what had happened, because obviously, for the relationship to be severed, there is an implied serious matter. And obviously, Slasher, my friend, my colleague, journalist, he also quite famously at the time, didn't he, said, oh, listen, I know why and I can't say. And by the way, as we'll also talk about at length, I hate it when journalists do that. Yes, journalists hear things coming out after a story breaks and going, well, yeah, I knew that one, obviously. You didn't have enough to publish it, so just shut the fuck up. I don't know why journalists do that. It's embarrassing. There's lots of that going on right now. You don't get to take a fucking victory lap for the story you didn't break just because you fucking knew about it. We all know about stuff. I mean, listen, I've lost huge stories. I am talking huge scoops, you know, Jason Schreier levels of news, simply because I didn't pick up a phone because I was hungover. Right? It happens. You don't get W's for the stories you don't run. This is a performance business too, right? So anyway, I went to America, and part of that, I went to Florida, and I thought I'll catch up with Stephen while I'm down here. I'm in the neighborhood, and I went on and did a couple of podcasts. I did his Bridges podcast, where we talked about kind of where we were at now. It was really good to catch up. And then we did the other alternate podcast. I can't even fucking remember the name of it, but I am about to play the clip from it with Dan. And it was a nightmarish drunk. Anything else? That's it. It was a nightmarish drunken train wreck where I'm pretty sure things were said that I sort of didn't want to be associated with, you know. And I'm not talking about what you think we're talking about. There was another thing. There's another buried clip from that where I'm just like, please don't say that around me. I can't. But anyway, on that episode, one of the things that was said was, Dan asked me, did I know about the Dr. Disrespect ban? And I think I said something on the effect of, yeah, you know, I was on that story. Every journalist was on that story. It was the biggest story at the time. Of course I was on that story. But I didn't get enough to publish, hence why I never published anything about it. And Dan said, well, you know, I'll tell you what I heard. And Stephen was goading him. And I said, well, if you want to, yeah, sure. You know? And then he said that he had heard it was something to do with inappropriate messages to a minor. And I incredulously said, no, never that. Right? Are you mad? Are you dizzy, blood? And so, anyway, we just went on to the next topic, whatever the fuck it was. It was just a drunken, incoherent podcast. A lot of people liked it, you know. Whatever. Anyway, when the podcast went to YouTube, that clip and another clip had been removed. It had been sanitized, you might say. But other people had got hold of the clip and were going, why isn't this in the final VOD? What's going on there? It's just interesting to cover up. Or they probably just don't want to get sued. And then 2 months or whatever it's been have gone by, and then nobody said anything about it. Then a former journalist and former Twitch employee, who I'll tell you a little bit about him in a moment. He's a friend of mine and a great man, good guy. Just publicly came out and said the reason he was banned was this. It was inappropriate messages to a minor through the Twitch Whispers system. So there you go. That's it. It was a righteous ban. That's that. This then sets off a chain reaction of other people coming out of the woodwork, Doc doing the denial. Fast forward to yesterday, at the time of recording this, Doc comes out and admits, yeah, I did do it. And we're all kind of just left with the aftermath. So that's a summary of what's gone on. We're now going to get into the minutiae. And let's just start by playing the clip. Because I think that, almost more than anything, I'll be able to sort of tell you a little bit about why I reacted the way I did. And then kind of talk about when I was reporting at the time. And I'm even going to show you an email just to show you I did take this story very seriously, wasn't part of a journalistic cover-up, and any of that stuff. So, right, here we go. But over a
Dan,
two-decade-long
just
career.
please tell
Surely
us.
my word
Well,
carries
Dan,
weight.
it's been a long time.
Please
but-
tell us.
Yeah, it's been a
It's
long
so
time.
long that the
Okay.
person involved is probably okay now.
Yeah. My memory is really bad because this was like 2 years ago, and I was in Outpost buying a minicopter, and I remember someone saying Doctor's Disrespect got banned from Twitch because he was messaging underage girls on Twitch.
Why he said that?
Wait, what?
That's not it.
We're about to learn all about the DMCA
What
process
the
now through
That's what I'm saying. What I heard in
Why did he
Rust.
say that? Why did he say that?
He must have heard it.
Am I not allowed to say what I heard in
His
Rust?
DM,
That's insane.
his
what
crew
you
on
just
Rust
said.
is
That's
a wild.
insane.
I'm sorry.
If I'm the doc, I'm suing you right now.
I would actually sue you.
Well,
Right now, I'd like to thank the Academy. I mean, I think people have to understand that if you don't have evidence as a journalist, you cannot say in the affirmative that somebody did something. But you can see there from my reaction, I'm genuinely shocked at him even proffering that. And so hearing rumors and hearsay, it's just not enough to destroy someone's reputation. I'll talk about when I was investigating this story and kind of what I found and the lengths I went to try and get the truth out there. But obviously, I'm never going to traffic in rumor. I'm not going to do that, guys. There's people out there who will. Fine. If you want to get your info from them, go do it. And sometimes, guys, they're going to be right. But in terms of the evidence that I had seen, there was nothing concrete. Nothing at all. So, had I heard, yeah. Am I gonna let someone say that on Steven's channel? Because let's also be real here. One of the reasons this story never got over the line, and I'll go into this in great detail on this stream, was the threat of litigation was ridiculous. Because neither party, nobody in fact, wanted this out there. Not the person that reported it, not the doc certainly, and not Twitch either, because essentially their platform was a conduit for it, and they have been lit up in the press, including by myself, about how they're not doing enough to protect kids on their platform. So what could have happened here if this had never come out, if Cody had never gone public, this right here, this clip, could have got Steven kicked off Kick, could have got him sued. After all, he's the big name. It's not Dan. It's his platform. It's his channel the podcast's going out on. Could have got me sued because I'm the journalist. So, and I don't have the protection of a masthead. I'm an independent. Again, I'll talk about what that means in a moment. Could have got Dan sued. I mean, who fucking knows? And obviously, we know now this couldn't have happened. But what if it was wrong? What if actually it was innuendo and lies, and then you've just ruined someone's reputation for nothing, for attention? So, yes, obviously, I'm sat there going, nah, that's crazy. Don't say that. Not what I heard. So, did we talk about it before and after? Yeah. You can tell, by the way, if you watch the clip again, Steven reacts before he even finishes saying what he's going to say. Watch.
my memory is really bad because this was like 2 years ago, and I was in Outpost buying a minicopter, and I remember someone saying Doctor's Disrespect got banned from Twitch because he was messaging underage girls.
That right?
And I remember someone saying Doctor's Disrespect got banned from Twitch because he was messaging underage girls.
So you can, so there's someone in the chat right now as well saying, are you saying I set him up to cover his ass? No, that's not what I'm saying. Again, there's a lot of morons that are around this. I just don't think you understand. I'm not going to allow me to be attached to something that could have constituted fucking journalistic malpractice. So no, that's not what happened. Anyway, let's talk about reporting at the time. Right, let's talk about what it was like reporting on that story at the time. Dr. Disrespect goes off platform, and immediately sources start reaching out to me. And I had very serious sources on this. I had people high up in Twitch. I had people in the world of streaming. I can't really elaborate more than that. And people reached out to me and basically said he's been kicked off the platform because he'd been messaging somebody, and that person had then reported it, and this had led to either his wife or him saying, oh, if you fucking tell anyone about this, blah, 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 right? So we got told it was a trust and safety ban, but the age was never brought up. It was that this person, it was more like, oh, if you tell anyone, there'll be consequences. And so they said, well, you can't be doing that. You can't be essentially threatening people. That was the first part of the story. And I said, any other details? And they were like, no. But then I watched the reaction to it after it. And then, if you remember, it weren't just Twitch, it was Discord. And I went, bit weird. Now, you have to remember, in 2020, people were still doing that thing where there was cross-platform punishment. You did something wrong on one platform, they were all working behind the scenes, and bish bash bosh. But Dr. Disrespect got removed from the Discord partnership program at the same time. People were like, well, what's that about? And then, if you remember, Giphy removed the Dr. Disrespect GIFs from their website. And I'll show you, just to show you that, like, I wasn't fucking part of all of a cover-up or whatever. This was the email I sent to Giphy at the time. I'm a journalist currently working on the story regarding allegations of a serious nature about popular streamer Guy Dr. Disrespect Bean. I've been gathering statements from affected parties and was informed that Giphy has removed all GIFs relating to the character from their platform. I want to ask a few questions in regards to this decision and would appreciate comment. Why is your platform taking the decision to remove GIFs involving the Dr. Disrespect persona from your platform? Does it relate to the allegations made to Twitch that prompted its ban? When you were first made aware of the allegations, what was the process rationale for removing the GIFs from your platform? Will similar policy be carried out for other personalities that are subject to similar allegations in future? If you are unable or unwilling to answer these questions, what other explanation would you offer for the removal of Dr. Disrespect GIFs from your platform? Thanks for taking the time to respond to these questions, and I hope this email finds you well. Richard Lewis, right? So I went as deep and as hard as you could fucking go on this story. I contacted everyone. I sent emails all over the place. I interviewed probably about half a dozen people and contacted all the major parties. And a funny thing happened partway through the story, right? And this is what you have to understand. So remember, I think I'm dealing with inappropriate conduct of a totally different kind. That essentially, you have to remember, in 2017, when he had to come out, and you know, all that cheating stuff happened with him, if you remember it, right? He had to publicly come out and do that humiliating stream, didn't he? And you know, his missus has obviously made him do that. And that was because in 2017, you know, people had heard rumors that, you know, he was out there, he was going to events and was flirting with women and all this stuff. And then obviously the cheating thing came out. And these, this allegation relates to 2017. It was reported in 2020, but the contact happened in 2017. So the assumption was, because I'll play you a clip of Slasher confirming this. The assumption was that there were lots of people like out there basically saying, yeah, Doc flirted with me too. He hasn't been entirely honest with his wife. And so obviously at that point, we also heard rumors that they were sending out messages going, don't impugn his reputation anymore. They were putting on a unified front together. So initially the story didn't have an age component to it, right? Then I'm like, guys, I don't know. I need something. I need a document. I need an email. I need contact with his talent agency. I need something that I can show and stand upon, because right now I've got interviews. Right now I've got testimony. Right now I've got quotes, but I don't have something I consider a smoking gun. And then one of the sources reached out to me and said, listen, Twitch are fucking furious about leaks happening around this story and that this story might come out. They're going to flood the zone with shit to basically try and find out where the leaks are. So be super careful about anything you hear about this story from now on. And I'm like, huh. And so about a week after the original ban and a week of reporting and a week of investigating, then I heard, oh, the person was underage in the state of California or whatever it was. And then I was like, now you don't know what to believe, right? Obviously, as it turned out, it's accurate. but there were all these weird, fucked up games being played. And, you know, as I said, I reached out to every major party and nobody wanted to say anything. Nobody wanted to say anything. Now, you also have to understand, there's a protective element to a story like this. You know, if somebody comes out and says, oh, they've had inappropriate conduct with a minor, well, I might not want their name being attached to the report. They might not want their name being attached to the report. They might not want any of the attention. You know, as the story goes, it happened in 2017. Nothing was said. 2020, they reported it to Twitch. Twitch took action. Twitch didn't release a statement. And then Dr. Disrespect went and ended up having it must have gone through arbitration, because the next part to it, right, was, okay, it'll come out in the lawsuit. If Doc's suing Twitch, they're going to have to file. And then I'll just go on my Pacer account and I'll just pull the legal docs. Not a problem. So, okay, we'll get there in the end. So I sat and I waited. Nothing coming, nothing happening. Even when Doc was saying he was suing, there wasn't a filing. And so what made, and there still isn't. And by the way, even if you seal and redact stuff, there would still be a record of it. There isn't one. So what this says to me, and this is important for later with the denials, Doc, when he was saying, look, I won the lawsuit, you know, I got paid, this must have gone through arbitration. It must have been publicly settled, privately settled rather than public lawsuits. So there was nothing there. Now, by the way, right now, there's documentation out there that people are trying to verify if it's real or not. It's a report. I think it's the report from Twitch. That's doing the rounds right now. All the journalists have been shopped it. So we'll wait and see. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna come out and fucking touch any of this stuff, because I feel it's, you know, I didn't get it over the line in the first instance, and he's admitted to it now anyway. And his life as a personality, whether he knows it or not, and seemingly he doesn't, it's over. That's that. You can't work in this industry and be associated with that. It's done. There'll never be a sponsor. There'll never be a job. You'll never be allowed to be in a position around young adults ever again. It's gone. So I want people to understand that this is why journalists at the time were, first of all, distrusting about details of the story, because people were deliberately lying. And then second of all, just the threat of litigation. Like, you have to imagine if you're Slasher, right? Slasher didn't work for anybody at the time. Slasher was like an independent journalist. He didn't have masthead protection. What do I mean by the masthead? The masthead is like the logo, the name, and the editorial board of a paper or a publication. So you use that term to essentially denote the publication. There's no one was coming. If you got sued by fucking Amazon, essentially, or by Doc, or by his talent agency, or by all three, or by the person he had messages with, because now you've made them a public personality, you got sued by all of them. You're on your own. And you can say it's cowardice or whatever, but I've had people threaten to fucking sue me all the time. And you gotta fucking retain a lawyer, talk to the union, make sure you've got your fucking defamation insurance paid up. This is what you have to do if you're an independent journalist. You know, it costs you money just to be protected. And, you know, put it this way, right now, if I was like sued, it would be tough. And I've done pretty well. And I have a pretty active Substack, you know? But they jam you up and they bleed you out. And the first thing lawyers agree to is, should we stall this a little bit? And then you're locked in, paying fees for years. People didn't want to go with that. I want you to also remember, Gawker had got fucking shut down just because Pete Thiel was willing to fund the Hulk Hogan lawsuit. And it's in the back of everyone's mind, you are one big lawsuit away from your publication going out of existence and 60 to 80 people losing their jobs. Now, by the way, Gawker was a piece of shit and they absolutely deserved it, but let's say you ran a story that's true. I mean, even if you are found out at the end to have been correct, it doesn't alter the fact that you've had to pay for lawyers and stuff. So journalists were like, if this story is true, it's one of those where you're definitely getting sued for running it. And also, from my perspective, it was impossible to verify as true. All of the people that wanted to talk on day one didn't want to talk by day 7. People have been told your life will be ruined if you are found out to be the leak. So what do I do? And I want people to understand this isn't like an Activision Blizzard situation where people could have just interviewed people could have just got complaint documents. You know, nobody even had a curiosity about reporting the abuses that were going on at Activision Blizzard. Everybody was curious. Lots of people, you know, like Kotaku and Polygon, they would have loved to have taken Dr. Disrespect down. We couldn't get there. It just simply wasn't possible. And I can't speak for every journalist, but for me, on a story like that, I better be 100%. And I need to see irrefutable evidence. And if I don't, sorry, I can't run it. Even if I want to and I want to protect people and I want to make Twitch a better platform and the internet a better place and all that, I can't. I just can't. It's not a cover-up. It's not a scandal. You just can't fucking do it. So, right, let's get to Cody and the tweet that started it all. This is Cody Connors, called Evoli on Twitter. He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then-existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. So, I can tell you about Cody, right? Cody used to be a journalist. We worked together at Daily Dot. He went over to On Gamers. He was a good journalist and a great guy. And then he worked at Twitch, where he was a point of contact for me whenever I needed help, because obviously I was like, do I even have a manager? How did Twitch feel about me? I don't know. All of my contacts and colleagues had left, apart from Cody. He was one of the last one standing. And so if you wanted me to talk about the man, Cody Connors, he is a man of ethics and integrity. He's a good person. He's a good journalist. He's been a good friend to me. So take anything I say with a pinch of salt. But I've never seen this guy lie. I've never seen this guy go in for fucking bullshit. This is a guy that I would trust. So as soon as I saw him tweet this, and it was on a Friday night, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. He's tossed a grenade into the room. And put it this way, this, for me, would have been like cast iron sourcing, because he worked at Twitch. He definitely knew what he's saying, and the little detail about Twitch Whispers, that was never there the first time. These are the kind of details, by the way, that journalists didn't have. That's why they couldn't run the story initially, right? So he just threw that out there. And I was like, well, if Cody's saying it, I believe him. So this obviously set off a very weird reaction on the internet, because people were like, wow, he's talking about the doc. And then then Jake Lucky saw this. Obviously, everyone saw this tweet. You can see, you know, it's got fucking 28.6 million views. And Jake Lucky retweeted it, and the doc replied to it. And he said, Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. So no wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract, which, by the way, the wording, right, not great. Now, what you can't see here because of how Twitter works now is Jake deleted the tweet. I just want to say, do you see the problem with, like, the difference between a journalist and a fucking clout goblin? And it's like, Jake doesn't want to be a journalist. Jake wants to be the influencer. And that's fucking dangerous. And this guy's out there and people are treating him like he's a news source. He's an attention seeker. He's an influencer. He's a clout goblin. He shouldn't be anywhere near stories of this magnitude, frankly. And then it tells you all you need to know. All the tweet was this guy said this, and the doc replies to him and he deletes it, he panics. So I don't want to hear about fucking, cowardice from journalists that would have been sued into oblivion by, like, fucking billion-dollar companies when there weren't enough facts to run a story, when all he repeated was what somebody else said on the internet, and he wouldn't even stand on that. Then, and again, this is kind of worrying, after Doc replied, suddenly Jake Lucky went and said, oh, look, Evoli was using the Dr. Disrespect ban reason for selling out his shows. Now, another thing about Cody, now he's quit all of this, because you will notice most good people who have integrity and brains, right, they end up like, you know what? Fuck esports. I don't know why I'm still here. Like, I'm sick. I'm diseased, right? Most people with integrity and brains leave. I'm just sat here complaining about it every day. I don't know why. But anyway, suddenly, after Doc tells Jake to shut up, now Jake is looking into Cody's shit. And he published these screenshots, and you can see Cody says, listen, if all 3 dates sell out, I'll tell you why you got banned. Gamer friends, if you're on the East Coast, you should come to one of these shows. Slasher is coming to the New York date. That's a 500-person room, and we're like 70% on pre-sale. I always act out around Rod. If that show sells out, I'll 100% explain why we banned him during the set. And if you like my very niche insights on esports or content creation, then you would love hearing me play guitar loud as fuck. Tour with tiny moving parts starts tomorrow. Maybe I'll get so swept up in the spirit of the music, I'll blurt out why he banned him. Now, look, don't really co-sign that, but, you know, he's a musician. He's a wild, free spirit character, you know, always has been that guy. And people started digging into Cody to, like, attack his credibility. Now, by the way, I don't think that removes his credibility at all. But after the initial tweet, everyone, all the Chudder sphere, all the fucking other streamers that were in them, they all thought it was a conspiracy. We all got accused of being part of a conspiracy. I got accused of being part of this conspiracy. Everyone was going, well, they're just taking him down. They're just trying to... Why? Why would we do it now? So, no, I don't co-sign this. And to be fair to Cody, he came out and also said those 3 tweets warrant admonishment, maybe more than 3. The stands trying to dig stuff up have been so underwhelming that I presume they missed something. I apologize for it all because it's worth apologizing for. The subtext of the bit, again, shameworthy, is that you're the last person to not know. The information had been so normalized, declawed in the circles I ran in, that it could be reduced to illusion and entendre. For everyone who has since said that's fucked, I agreed with you on Friday night before you wrote it. I should have agreed with you sooner. I cannot take it back, but I can stop it. I never said I'm a perfect person. I just hope this class grades on a curve. And then he also added, because I think people were worried about, like, potential legal action, right? Because there is a component to that that's worth acknowledging. If there is an agreement in place, right, which was, I would assume, through arbitration, we will pay up your contract, you fuck off, and we will not ever explicitly say the reason why you were banned. That works for both parties, and then the doc goes away to YouTube, and it's just done. No one talks about it. Now, Cody is a former Twitch employee. Has he, in a technicality, violated the agreement? Well, you know, that could lead to litigation. So, that said, I'm the least sued I've ever been. Guys, lawyers work weekends. I don't think they had a few things they just needed to get to before they circled back to this. I'm also a little irked at Jake, who's very clearly trying to split the difference with what he thinks is half of his potential audience, but also I deserve to feel bad about the things he's flagged. I just do. But I also know Jake is racing to verify that screenshot from the world's leader in multiplayer entertainment is legit. Enforcement ID 7278926. This is what I was talking about earlier. And things are dragging on. Knowing who I was racing, I would probably put out some content too. And this is the thing. There's another chapter to all of this that may or may not come out. I know several journalists are working on it now. Personally, I think it would be fitting if it was Slasher that actually got to finish the story off. Because I saw him on XQC's stream the other night, and it's like, brother, I get it. You want to take a victory lap? The tweet was still ridiculously stupid. But in part, he believes that that tweet and the subsequent mockery and the lack of a story ever coming out for 3.5 years, he thinks it ruined his credibility. It was easily avoided. You know, people just like to present, oh, I know all the secrets. But it's just like, you know, okay, if you do, report them. Oh, you can't? You don't have enough? Fine, don't talk about it then. So that's kind of where we were at with that. And then obviously the doc had to make another first response because it was all over Livestream Fail. And we all know Livestream Fail may as well be a hotline to fucking Twitch and YouTube and Kick, all the big streaming platforms. If something goes on there, everybody knows about it. And so this was the response. He said, listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say since this is the fucking internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring, Monday. Now, you will notice this isn't a great response, because if you're accused of sending inappropriate messages to a minor, you just say, I didn't send inappropriate messages to a minor. I would never do that. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a family man. I would find behavior like that abhorrent, and that's it. And you just get on with your, you just get on with your life. You just don't dignify it. And that, unfortunately, is glaringly obvious. You can see that. You know there's something off with the linguistic framing of it. Now, I get it. You can be handcuffed by legal agreements, and you might not be able to say anything, but I can't think of any kind of legal framework that would preclude you from saying, I didn't do this thing specifically. So on it goes, and now the journalists, they get to come out and say, now we can get sources on the record. Okay, I get it. People felt a little bit relieved about all of this now. This is over in Bloomberg by Cecilia. YouTuber Dr. Disrespect was allegedly kicked off Twitch for messaging a minor. Beam's departure from Twitch and Discord and his re-emergence on YouTube show social media companies continue to grapple with allegations of bad behavior by online stars who helped them generate millions of dollars in revenue. YouTube, part of the Alphabet Incorporated, didn't respond to requests for comment. Neither did the 49ers. PepsiCo Incorporated, which makes Mountain Dew, said it hasn't worked with them in some time. So, blah, blah, right? So, it was in Bloomberg. Then, The Verge, they also decided to run something. Former employees have contacted The Verge and said, he was messaging a minor on their platform. And it says there was another anonymous source that spoke to them about it. So suddenly we're getting these reports. And I'm like, okay, but this doesn't really say anything explicit that, you could have probably, especially with a publication like The Verge, you probably could have ran that back then. This should tell you how fucking confused everything was. So we also had Mikhail Klementov, who writes over on his Substack called Readergrev. And this is an interesting one, because he did it from the same viewpoint I'm looking at. Why hasn't the press broken the Dr. Disrespect Twitch ban story? And you can see, he's got a kind of similar in the trenches story to me. At the time, I was an editor at Launcher, the Washington Post video game and esports vertical. Of course, we were chasing the story. Beam had been poised to be the face of Twitch just as the platform was approaching its all-time high in terms of viewership hours. But Twitch declined to respond to our questions and requests for comment, saying only that the platform reserved the right to take action if a streamer acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. I helped broker an interview between Beam and one of Launcher's writers, but that too yielded little insight. Imagine showing up to work and the doors are closed and you can't get inside, being told to Post. You're going, what's going on? And you've been told you've been fired, but you haven't been told the reason why. We just weren't given an answer. On Friday, the public got an illusory first glimpse at the rumours surrounding Beam's ban. Then it refers to Cody's tweet, again, with the caveat, at the time of writing this newsletter, I'm treating every rumour, implied connection, allegation as just that. Then, Slasher tweeted, I didn't lie, when the Cody tweet came out. And you can see in 2020, Slasher's tweet became a minor meme in the universe of people who might care about Dr. Disrespect, and among those who sought an opportunity to get in a jab at Breslau, who can be prickly and acerbic online. Breslau had previously been a prolific leaker. He did have the nickname Leak Boy at one point. Had come across a story that he couldn't seem to crack. The public wouldn't let him forget it. Breslau briefly withdrew from social media. In 2022, he told me that the credible sources post still weighed on him. I cannot continue my professional career until I release a story about Doc, Breslau wrote in a message to me. He described himself as experiencing something like executive dysfunction. I'm pretty bad at making decisions to begin with, and now I've just kind of stopped everything, in part because of this. From a professional journalistic standpoint, though, I've always thought that Breslau was on solid footing. In the aftermath of Connor's tweet, some users have rightly asked, why does it seem like everyone knew? Why didn't anyone say anything? The truth is that in as much as it may seem that the story has advanced, we're really still on square one. There's a reason What we think we know came in the form of a vague post. Every journalist wants to be the one to nail this story, if it's true, but not a single one has gathered the requisite sourcing to make it happen. What does that mean? For a story like this to feel airtight, a journalist would want to talk to multiple sources with direct insight into what happened when Beam was banned. And remember, that is what we all did. And on day 1, we were getting told something different to what we were being told by day 3, day 4. Round about the same time, we're also being told, guys, everyone's going to start lying because everyone wants to plug the leaks on this. There's dark arts being practiced here. So now, journalists are second-guessing even sources that they thought they could trust. That's what happened. It's likely, however, the group that made Twitch's decision regarding Beam was small and tight-knit. People in those positions often don't see any upside in speaking with press, and indeed fear the risks, professional blowback, legal issues, etc., that might come with revealing internal secrets. And before a journalist can even have a conversation with such a source, they have to find that person. In a company like Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, identifying and then reaching the stakeholders who were involved in such a momentous decision is a huge task in and of itself. On the other side of the equation, I know that journalists at the Post and elsewhere sought public records related to Beam that might shed light on any reported criminal activity. We didn't find anything. Journalists who say they knew or heard something in the aftermath of a big public revelation or accusation aren't showing off. I disagree on this. If anything, their knowing should be treated as a statement of humility. I couldn't get this, they're saying. I was working on it, but I couldn't get it over the line. And so obviously, yeah, there's been a bunch of journalists like, Nathan Grayson, fucking Patient Zero of journalistic ethics violations came out and said, without revealing anything else in order to protect sources, I can say that this is not the first time I've heard basically this explanation, nor is it the second or the third. And so indeed, this is accurate. Another component to this story is, imagine you're a journalist and imagine you hear one version and you're like, okay, that's the right version. Then you get told, oh, the person was a minor. And you're being told at the same time that loads of people are going to lie about the story. Then the original version falls by the wayside, and the only version people talk about now is that he was messaging a minor. What would you assume? Because for me, from a journalistic viewpoint, I might think the rumor and innuendo has took over the facts. And that's where I've always sat with it. It's why my conscience is clear. I couldn't get the story over the line. It happens. But I will add, and this becomes important later on in the stream, the people trying to frame that they didn't know. And when I say no, I mean they hadn't heard the same now substantiated rumor is ridiculous. I want you to just accept that if Dan had heard it on a Rust server, Dan, you're telling me big streamers hadn't heard that rumor. You're telling me people who go to TwitchCon hadn't heard that rumor. Well, I hate to break it to you, I know many of them did. And they accepted on good faith that, no, that's a rumor and an innuendo and not what happened. Because people don't want to believe that that's what happened. So I'm going to just say this. Be hugely skeptical of anyone coming out saying now they've never heard that rumor before, because that's garbage. That pretty, as Cody said, I'll go to bat for my man here. It had pretty much just been accepted as the reason. We couldn't prove it, we couldn't publish it, we couldn't run it. But if you were to say to somebody, what do you think happened to the doc? They would reel that reason off the top of their fucking head like it was nothing. And, think about that. So be highly skeptical about streamers that are all coming out now, because everyone's going to queue up to get content out of this. I'm no different, right? But they're going to be like, oh, no, we never knew that. Never heard that. It was, unironically, one of the worst kept secrets behind the scenes. People had just arrived at this as a final destination and what happened. But nobody could prove it. There wasn't a smoking gun. We didn't have the messages. People didn't even have the specifics of the details, like the Twitch Whispers aspect of it. Oh, didn't he message someone? Yeah, what platform is pretty important, wouldn't you say? When it happened, what the context is, right? Anyway, we move on. For some reason, in the midst of all of this, and we have seen both Dr. Disrespect responses so far, for some reason, he thinks he's just going to go on a stream and fucking play Elden Ring, Shadow of the fucking Turd Tree, and fucking just behave like nothing is happening. And that, to me, is very instructive of kind of like what has happened here. Because he essentially, I want you to think about how crazy this is. He had something happen to him that should have been career-ending. And he got another 3.5 years of a career, a very lucrative career, that he shouldn't have had. And then he still is saying now, as we'll get to, he is still saying, I'm not going anywhere. I think you might be. So, this was a clip from his stream. Something happened during the stream where the energy changed. And and this has happened before for him. I think on the day he got banned, something similar happened. He got like a message on his phone. He looks down at something and then energy changed. And I think it happened the day he got banned as well. But I just want you to watch this again. We'll put it on big and we'll go on to big head. Right, here he is. Right, I just want you to watch this energy shift, the vibe shift, you might say.
You know how we run things here.
The music's too perfect as well. I mean, I don't believe anything's real anymore. Simulation, right?
Enjoy. Smart life, smart safety. With LG Thinking.
Da quando Dario ha scoperto le nuove tigelle, gli piace assaggiarne tante diverse e dividere quella più farcita con Alice. Da scaldare in padella e farcire come vuoi. Nuove tigelle Mulino Bianco. Cerca la tua felicità.
Now, what happened there? What we can speculate is that it was this tweet. He was involved in a video game studio called the Midnight Society, and they decided they were going to sever ties immediately. They decided, you know, we can't be associated with this anymore. And again, this should tell you its own story, right? This is the Midnight Society. On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beam, a.k.a. Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence. I mean, by the way, the wording here should tell you, uh-oh. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved, and in order to maintain our principles and standards as studios and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we have employed along with our community of players. And so, because of the timing of the tweet, the speculation is, while he was on that stream, he'd got the message from a colleague at midnight saying, look, man, we're going to have to let you go. Now, also, just for those that maybe don't get to read between the lines here, we began speaking with parties involved. What this means is they've conducted their own investigation. They're not going to terminate a relationship with Dr. Disrespect unless they have seen something or been told something that confirmed the allegations. You wouldn't do that. How this would read is, We conducted our own investigation but weren't able to ascertain the facts of the case. We are going to temporarily suspend our association with Guy Beam, aka Dr. Disrespect, until we investigate for... No, they reached out, somebody at Twitch, somebody somewhere gave them something, and they went, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's a slam dunk then. So, at that point, people should have been like, writing's on the wall for this one. But no, it didn't go that way, did it? You saw them, the Chudosphere. They were all out there, all defending. Wow, they're taking down an innocent man. Anyway, on that same stream, when this tweet got released, and he got that, well, appeared to get a text, he went into a 7-minute monologue about how he needed to take a vacation, and he was burnt out. This is something he's done before, like with all of the... whenever he's embroiled in... by the way, I don't think it was a scandal that he cheated on his wife. I don't even give a fuck if you cheat on your partner or whatever. That's between y'all. This other stuff is in the public interest. There's a protective aspect to this, and we'll get to Twitch and kind of like another reason why it's absurd to throw allegations of me being involved in a cover-up. Twitch fucking hate me because I have pointed out they don't do enough to protect minors on their platform. I can demonstrate it. I will prove it to you. But anyway, this is the 7-minute monologue after the vibe shift that he goes into.
When shit like this happens over the weekend, and it just kind of... It's like, how many times can I... I don't... Like, I'm actually tired of being on social media, and
yeah, I get it. I mean, but the thing that's interesting in all of this, I think, just this whole clip, is that he still thinks he's the victim in all of this. Like, I'm sure from his perspective, what is happening isn't very nice, but equally, you've had 3.5 years of being allowed a second chance. You could have got ahead of it. You could have come clean at any time, done some damage control, but you didn't. And now the truth is out. It's being verified. You're starting to get all the appropriate penalties and punishments you should have had at the time. Now it's victimhood.
I've expressed that over the years, champs. I just, I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something. I don't know. But I'm just feeling burnt out, I think. I came into this with... When did we start streaming, champs? 2015? 16? Been doing this since 2009. Different scene back then. Having a good time. Playing the games that are fun to interact with and create content with. And over the years, it's just gotten, I don't know, like it's been drained out of me. Being drained out of me. It's being drained out of my family and I. And I just feel like, I had the mindset of let's just see what happens today. How are we feeling? And I'll tell you, I just I don't know. I'm just feeling burnt out. Maybe it's time to start something new, something different. Challenge those creative senses, a desire to explore different realms, if you will. But I think the first and foremost, though, is I did have a sort of a planned vacation coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I might just extend that starting now. One of these let's take a step back. I mean, it is what it is. People get fatigued, right, champs? And to be honest, I don't know how long. You know, I know where my vacacion, how long my vacation is, but you know, maybe I extend that. We'll see. We'll see. But I do appreciate you guys, champs. Right?
It gets weird now. I mean, it's already weird. Someone in the chat said, this is like when my dad sat me down to tell me about the divorce, right? It's already weird, but it gets weirder. But you have to understand, like, at this point, why just turn off the stream? Just, please, you just say, oh, guys, something came up. Gotta go. And you turn off the stream. You don't need to go into any of this. But it's like you're in quicksand and you think you're gonna get out, and you're trying to tell like your community that like no, this thing that I definitely did that I'm about to admit to on social media, there's still some victim element at play, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me that you would sit there and do this. And as I said, it gets weird now. He starts interacting with individual members of the chat.
And look out for the socials. I'll keep you updated when we'll be back. But I definitely need to take a break from everything, you know?
Hello?
Start a podcast. I think what I'm most interested in, and believe it or not, champs, because obviously when you're a top tier gamer like me, when your gaming skill set is just incredible, and you know you look like this, you know, why wouldn't you want to be in front of the camera all the time? But I'm kind of I'm exhausted in being in front of the camera. I'm exhausted being on socials. The industry's changed so much. Just so much different energy out there, negative energy and clashing, and from everything that we've experienced since we've started this whole journey together, you know what I mean, champs? And I'm just like, when I go outside, I just feel so much better. When I remove myself, I just feel, the hell is this, you know?
By the way, keep all this in mind.
So that's all I'm gonna say.
For the final statement.
Keep playing, Doc. We don't care. The fuck? Okay. Grief Warden, thank you for the $25 donation. Big Bearded Scotsman, welcome. Payback, thank you for the 46 months. Champs, I'm gonna call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away. I think when I say step away, I mean, I'm gonna have to either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but you know.
And there you go. Right now, remember, we know by the time the stream ends or whatever, he's already been told he's out of there. We know that he's got, but it's like he doesn't understand. Like you're not in control of this anymore. The truth is out there. The appropriate reactions are going to play out. You just step away from the stream. You did the bad thing. This is the price for doing the bad thing. You're not in charge anymore. That's that. That is how a scandal plays out. And still, like, there's still like 2 minutes left. Like, it's crazy.
Maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove.
Maybe you do
from the scene. It's what I need to do.
Yes, it is, sir.
I mean, right? Champs. Take all the time you need, says Layer Cake. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Give me back my dog! Okay. Don't be a pussy. God damn it. I'm telling you, it's fatigue. It's tired. It's wanting to just kind of move away from the limelight. Ultimately,
You can
that's
start
what
now.
it's about.
You just hit the stop
You know what I mean,
streaming
Chips?
button.
Damn, now what? I mean, shit, there's 50 million other streamers you can watch right now.
Yes.
It's getting old, yo. What's getting old? Get the break. Respect it, Doc. Okay, I appreciate that. It's getting old, you're not alone. That's not very nice. You don't like me? It's time to drive into the sunset, says Swervin. Ooh, man, I like your style. It might be time to drive in the sunset, champs.
Yes.
I appreciate all of you. Appreciate all the commitments, the recommitments. Please, do me a favor. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Like, I just don't know, man. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, just turn the stream off. Let it play out. It's over, you know? And as I said, it's made all the wilder by the fact you already had the second chance play out. 3.5 years of additional earnings that you wouldn't have had, additional sponsorship deals, additional endorsements, additional partnerships. You had it all. So you must have known it was going to come out. I mean, again, I find it so hard to believe that you couldn't have kind of planned for this. So yeah, you walk away with your millions, and you never get to be a public figure ever again. But you're still a millionaire. You know, your kids will be fine. Probably gonna have to deal with some pretty cruel comments because of your actions. But you made your money, so you just walk away. Not going to jail. I know. Kind of feel like if you weren't so narcissistic about it, you would probably sort of be like, oh, well, you know, I had a second chance maybe I didn't deserve. There's no contrition, you will know. So, anyway, okay. He then goes on that weird rant about, you know, how he, like, walked away. And then somebody from the studio, that the Midnight Society that let him go, they waded in with that and just said, this is a statement from me personally, it's Robert Bowling. It does not reflect any of my companies and has not gone through any legals or PR approvals. If you inappropriately message a minor, I cannot work with you, period. I promise to only act on facts, and I did. So again, it's pretty universal at this point. It's pretty much over. I said I would only act on facts, and I did. Right? Yeah, and that's Infinity War guy. So this now puts the Doc in the spot where he's got to decide how he's going to react to it, how he's going to say things about this, and how he's going to frame this. And keep in mind, because I'm doing this a little bit out of chronology, right now, even with this, there are right-wing chuds all saying this is because he spoke out against LGBTQ people. This is the Democrats taking him down. I will show you proof of this. It is absolutely insane, the level of defense. Yeah, the Matrix, the Andrew Tate defense is coming out. And so the Doc did put out a tweet longer. Or rather, they're not tweet longers now. They're just long tweets, aren't they? Hello. I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. Doc, I don't know how to tell you this, but there clearly is a filter with you. Because you publicly lied about not knowing the reason for years. You publicly said there was no wrongdoing, I got paid, I'm ready to move on. You never acknowledged what happened. Kind of definitely was a filter with you there. You acted like Twitch in some way did you wrong, when what they could have equally have done is said, yeah, we removed him for this reason. At the point they removed you, they could have totally annihilated your career, and yeah, you could have sued them. And you would have been embroiled in a lawsuit, and you would have got into what was contractually appropriate. Could they say that? Could they do that? But at the end of the day, all that comes of that is they cut you a check, and you're still the guy that interacted with the miner through Twitch Whispers. They could have done that, they didn't. Got some ideas as to why. But to say there's no filter, you've always been upfront and real, is a complete fabrication, and it shows how divorced from reality you've become around this topic. So let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we've carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now again, it's very much in your control. You just say, I did this bad thing, I did this terrible thing. You go, you know, there's many celebrities who have had inappropriate messages to minors, have owned up to it and said, oh, it was a moment of madness, I was lonely, I was researching a book, you know, whatever. There was nothing that would have prevented you from publicly saying that, other than the fact you didn't want it to get out. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual miner back in 2017? The answer is yes. Well, all right, there we are then. So it's done, right? I mean, you don't need to say anything else. We can just end it here, right? Now, interesting point. In the statement, I think it went in this order of edit. The word miner was in, then he took the word miner out, then he put the word miner back in, right? Then he goes, were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed, I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me. Nobody said it was. Nobody assumed it was. It would have been public. We could have got details of it had it been. And no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community and circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you've always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't know, bruh. Don't know about introducing this weird combative element in what should be a full and frank apology right at the end. Don't know if the PR guys checked off on that. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not fucking going anywhere. Oh, well, guess that pre-planned long vacation Just not happening now, is it? I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, fucking right. So, lots in those last couple of paragraphs, right? The line zero real life experience, I don't know. I would say when you're a public figure, you're going to get approached by people who want to have sex with you, people who want to get to know you, people who want to be friends with you, people who want to be in your orbit. When you're a celebrity, this is the norm. And it's very much on you that if any of those people happen to be minors, or if there happens to be a power dynamic, or if they happen to be easily influenced, or, you know, whatever it might be, it's on you to behave responsibly. And most people with life experience, they understand this, and they don't engage in conduct like this. Now, you can say, oh, I made a mistake, I'm not that same person. That's fine. A little contrition would have made that more convincing. But listen, I'll also add, at the time of the incident, you're 35. I don't know how much more personal growth and development, you know, are you going to go through? And, you know, you're a father. Like, at no point do you step outside yourself and go, wait, if this was my daughter talking to a 35-year-old guy on the internet, how would I feel about that? Oh, yeah, God, that's disgusting. So it's like not even in the moment do you catch yourself. So, I don't know, man. That's like, there's no wrapping it up as just one of those life experience things. There could be additional context. Maybe you didn't know, blah, blah, but I'm not hearing any of that. I'm not hearing any of that in the statement. I'm not hearing it was a mistake. I'm not hearing you got bamboozled at the last minute. I'm not hearing any of that. And if that were true, surely you would be saying that. Then to say you're not going anywhere, they want you to disappear. I hope you understand what your life is like now. You've gone from being the face of a platform to being like, only use me Blade. That's the level now. There's no more big endorsements ever coming. There's no more sponsorship deals coming. Everyone is going to walk away from you and disavow. Even if they were your friends, they're going to say they never were. Even, or, you know, do you think that, as we'll get to, you think the San Francisco 49ers are going to ever kind of welcome you back in the fucking stadium and be like, oh, hey, the Doc's here? You think WWE's ever going to do that again? No, honestly, the best thing you could do for your own psychological care would be to step away from all of this. It will never be the same, and rightfully so. I've said it many times, like, you know, doing this business, the one thing you could never ever get embroiled in an industry where you are going to be around young people, young vulnerable people often, or a lot of the time. You can't ever afford to get into any weird sex shit. There's no bouncing back from that, because the industry is directly going to put you around people, young people. So no, you can't participate anymore. It's just like that. So people do want you to disappear because it's worrying that this could even be a thing that somebody like yourself could have been ever engaged in. But this statement's crazy, and I don't know, like, as we'll get to, I think it's one to revise. Anyway, where do we go to next? Well, obviously, as I said, there were some pretty wild people. The reacts to this were kind of fucked up and weird, and so I'll just show you some of the crazies. Like, for example, this. I don't know how you make this video. Like, Dr. Disrespect offers full disclosure to the Twitch ban. Instead of hopping on the pedo bandwagon, why can't we just forgive him and move on? Oh, all right, then. And then a declassified pog face. There's just so much going on there. Thanks to Mikhail for that one. I mean, this is like, and by the way, this was like the level of discourse that was kind of going on. Grums as well, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with him of late. But he posted, there was an email that got like sent out to people in the media. Now, Grums did delete this, but this email was like sent out via, it was just a Proton email. So if you know anything about Proton, it's like, you know, anonymity and all of that stuff. So you wouldn't have been able to, you know, trace this. This went out to some press outlets as well.
Paulaner, in compagnia c'è più gusto.
And remember, this went out, I think, before the confession. So I'm sending this to multiple known sources in the gaming news arena. I hope this is taken in the spirit in which it's intended. I will keep this inbox open for 12 hours from now, then it will be gone forever. Here's what actually happened, but what cannot be said publicly by the Dr. Disrespect camp. There were whispers between Guy and a 17-year-old on Twitch. The age was not known at the time. These were messages in relation to how to scale new channels using tried and tested methods, behind the scenes. This was a service that was offered members of the Dr. Disrespect team under a different brand name. The brand name could be interpreted in many ways. The issues on the Twitch side was how some of the messages and brand name used could be interpreted differently. It was interpreted differently by certain members of the Twitch team that had taken a dislike to Dr. Disrespect due to the bathroom incident. The internal feeling was that it would only be a matter of time before they got him on something. This one, however, was way wide of the mark and wasn't what they thought it was. This became the result of a lot of back and forth at Twitch with various people in the let's get him camp and others in the we can't move forward with this camp. His whispers were being monitored because of a core group of influential people within Twitch wanted him gone. The whispers in question were actually from many weeks prior to his last stream. The initial explanation provided to, I mean, by the way, yeah, we know, because he even said what year they were from, and it wasn't weeks. The initial explanation provided to him during the termination was inappropriate behavior not befitting the Twitch brand. He's writing what he said at the time of his go live on YouTube, as we still don't know, because of a long time Twitch could not commit to an explanation over and above the inappropriate behavior not befitting of the Twitch brand until the matter went to court. The matter went to court, and it was found in discovery. And by the way, this is how you know this is all like bullshit and me. Like this is all the red flags in this email, by the way, and people were just uncritically sharing this. That not only did a group of Twitch employees conspire to get him, but they also broke data protection, internal policy, and CCPA regulations by disclosing to a third party who he had also contacted what they perceived to have happened. Internally, the argument on their side became, why else would he be messaging someone that young, implying only a sinister perspective? For the avoidance of doubt, there was no sexting, as implied by a former Twitch employee. There were messages, but not of that nature. Dr. Disrespect was the one who initiated legal proceedings and settled because of the fact that once something like this is said about someone, it cannot be unsaid, and there would always be some, perhaps not fans, who would say, well, there's no smoke without fire. We have seen many people accused of things that turned out to be true in the past, but by that time the damage was done. He agreed to the no party admits any wrongdoing joint statement purely because he understandably wanted all of this kept quiet. The fact that a former Twitch staff member has now made this tweet has changed things considerably. It's out there now and it can't be walked back. Dr. Disrespect is furious. He cannot respond to this properly because his lawyers are telling him this would make the agreement invalid and he may be forced to pay back the settlement he won. I'll say that again, that he won. There will be legal avenues explored on this one, and it will likely ultimately manifest itself in a huge damages claim against Twitch for this coming out. It's clear in the industry that they were absolutely raging when he reappeared on YouTube and came back bigger than ever. By the way, how can people not tell this is just a fan? Like, how can you not tell this is just a fan writing this? Like, it's actually absurd that anybody would share this publicly. So, like, irresponsible. Twitch were raging. It's like this is like the most obvious, like, not a connected source email I've ever had. This is like total garbage, and that anyone would give it credibility is ridiculous. When he publicly backed Nick Merckx recently, here we go, we're about to get into the Globo Homo conspiracy theories. When he publicly backed Nick Merckx recently, the same group of current and ex-Twitch employees tried to identify if they're compromised separation agreements from Twitch would be nullified if they spoke out, and only one had the guts to try after testing the waters numerous times before to sell concert tickets, referring to Cody. This person follows Jake Lucky. What a surprise. This person would have largely been fine legally if he had not mentioned the word sexting, because it was all about damaging Dr. Disrespect's reputation. information. But because they use that word, expect legal proceedings to get underway quickly. By the way, spoke to Cody. Cody's put it out publicly. There's been no legal contact aimed at him whatsoever so far, because transcripts will absolutely categorically show there was no sexting, but merely communications with someone who turned out to be a minor that was not known at the time. That certain people within Twitch who had an agenda against Dr. Disrespect pounced and made it fit their agenda with zero proof. I am a former Twitch employee. I now work elsewhere. I will not be identifying myself, and I will not answer questions about who I am. However, I will answer some questions in relation to this case, as I was very close to this at the time. He deserves the right to have some transparency, but he's tied legally in what he can say until the new proceedings progress. He has the right to some of the story being out there, even if he can't be the one to say it. So I'm sending this as an independent party, very independent, who is fully aware of the facts and feels very uncomfortable with what I've seen thrown at him in the past few days, based on the agenda of a small group of people who did not like him. You should also ask yourself, why are some of these people no longer at Twitch? Because they broke policy, and in some cases the law, by breaching data protection regulations. Many people were dealt with as a result of this and lost their jobs. By the way, I also happen to know like which people chose to leave, which people were terminated. Some people lost their contracts during the recent esports winter where everyone got laid off. It's got nothing to do with that. You have a duty to balance the reporting of this until such times as court proceedings provide the clarity you should have waited for but didn't. He's been good to you all. He's like Jesus in a way. He's been good to you all. He's not what is said, and he deserves better, especially considering he agreed for their behavior not to be made public, as he wanted to protect the income streams of others. The Midnight Society piece is an example of a lot of people getting cold feet. They asked him about it, and he told them messages existed, but they weren't in that nature reported, but couldn't share them as part of the settlement, and the decision was made to put out that statement in haste. That was a more impulsive move that they'll regret later. So by the way, that anybody would get that email and go, oh yeah, that's real. That's a genuine email. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and that is like the time that people got nervous because a Phantom Lord fan or a prankster, you decide who, was sending out fake cease and desist letter where the lawyer's logo was a cock and balls. And people were really coming to me going, oh no, I've had a cease and desist. I'm going, yeah, from fucking Winky Winky and Sons. Winky Testes and Sons. I think we'll be all right on this one. People, unfortunately, don't really have a lot of experience when it comes to handling this. And when you're an experienced journalist and someone that does deal with whistleblowers a lot, people that have privileged information but are worried about sharing it, you very quickly get a feel for whether it's genuine or not. That has about a dozen red flags that I would instantly just press delete. There's no need to ever entertain anything in that email whatsoever. And as I said, the fact that it made it onto the internet and was like shared as going, oh look, they're out to get the doc. They're trying to get the doc. You know, like, it got really ridiculous. There was a lot of people coming out and saying, oh, you know, this is all part of a plan to take down Dr. Disrespect, right? I mean, you know you're in for a good time, right? Evo Cybernation took it upon himself, right? He replied to a tweet that said, and it was the original clip, and they were going, oh, forget the Twitch employee, Destiny, Richard Lewis, and Dan Saltman fucking planted this. We leaked this into the water because we're working for the DNC Globo Homo agenda. And so a guy called Evo Cybernation, who's now deleted all of these tweets, hopefully in shame. I don't think he's capable of shame. His timeline is a mess. He decided to do some research. And what these Facebook boomer QAnon types mean when they say research is they go on Google and they think that if there was an insane conspiracy, like, I went, actually, no, I used Bing. They think they can get to the truth by reading Wikipedia pages and stuff. So this is what he did. Richard Lewis was beside the podcaster Stephen Destiny Bennell, Mr. Borelli, right? Dan Saltman wore the Crocodile Dundee hat. Stephen Kenneth Bennell II ran the podcast. Stephen is on Kick right now if you want to ask him questions about this whole ordeal. Then He links to me. He links to a Wikipedia page about me, right? It brings up Richard Lewis's background on Wiki, but does not go into his personal life. I had to dig around. He means I had to look at my Twitter feed. I had to dig around to find some evidence on his background and found a few X posts. And then it's like me saying, I was responding to someone who was saying I was a bigot towards the LGBT community. And I said, can you prove that? It would be a surprise. And he highlights this. It'd be a surprise to me as an openly bisexual person. There's the Globo Homo agenda, guys. I'm always at it. I'm imprinting on you right now. There's a rainbow behind the Chad head saying yes, 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 Globo Homo agenda. Right? So it'd be a surprise to me as an openly bisexual person who literally just today put out a video criticising Ricky Gervais's shit material about trans people. But I'm sure you have the receipts and aren't lying in public. Then he linked a picture of the Team Falcons logo, the Saudi Arabian team with the rainbow flag, and I put it out there, please share, go Falcons. Then he linked to Destiny's Wikipedia and said, Stephen Kenneth Bennell II, since 2016, has gathered further attention for streaming political debates with other online personalities, in which, and again, the emphasis is his, it's this guy's, this is his deep research. He advocates for progressivism and liberal politics. The New York Times described Bennell as a liberal, while Bennell has described himself as a very big social democrat. Then it comes down to here. Daniel Blake Saltman, Tiny Chat founder, calls out Twitch CEO Dan Clancy. This is the best he could do. And said he's the founder of TTM Technologies, right? So then, okay. By the way, this maniac was tweeting at me all day, talking in circles. People were going, Richard, you're arguing with a bot account. I'm like, I'm not. This is what happens. Like Facebook, the Facebook QAnon boomers, their brains were broken and they're never coming back. So, right, his conclusion after all of his research, right? We all now know that Richard Lewis, Dan Saltman, and Stephen Kenneth Benelli II, Destiny, are Democrats with Democrats. Me, a British man, doesn't even live in the US. I'm a Democrat, guys. I hope you realize this. I love the DNC. Don't have a podcast where I'm talking about how Biden's not fit for office or nothing like that, right? Definitely, I'm a Democrat, guys. It was hard to find evidence on Dan Saltman, but I found it. The next question that comes to mind is, are they going after Dr. Disrespect and possibly Nick Merckx because they want the LGBTQIA community to leave the kids alone? There it is. That's what it's all about, right? That's what we were doing it for. So this is the type of shit that was getting flung at me for 2-3 fucking days when this story broke. And there were some pretty stupid responses as well. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this, but we can have a round of Banks in the chat, I guess. FaZe Banks said, abandon the persona entirely, drop the act and ditch the costume. Fire up the stream and play dumb. Pretend like you have nothing to do with the Doc character and agree with the general consensus that he's a creep. Call yourself Mr. Respect. It's your only play. Which, you know, look, it's actually a funny tweet, but also it's kind of instructive at where we're all at with it. Like, the streaming community are going, like, they're breaking in, like, 2 directions on this. Some people are just joking about it. It's like, is it serious or isn't it, guys? Is this a big individual on a platform talking to underage people and, you know, does that matter? Well, I think it does. Or people are going, oh, you know, the other way, like Tim the Tapman, right? And again, I'm sorry, like, I don't know how people could have not heard the rumor. Like, it just seems sort of crazy to me, given how, like, out there it was. So...
Wow, this is absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing. I have known Doc for a while now. We've played games for years. And seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult thing for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate. If he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't. I appreciate y'all. This is beating me up, but this is unfortunate to say the least. This is awful. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love you give, and
Bit of a
I'll
laugh
see
there.
y'all soon, man.
So, look, you're going to see a lot of this as well. Streamers, man, it's like all about them. And, I've said this, like, streamers, they when they say things like, oh, he was a friend, I mean, like, I've said this, like, so much, like, these people don't really have, like, proper friendships as you or I would, like, conceive of them. Like, they're just, like, it's all collabs. It's all just collabs, and they're always thinking, oh, well, if I collab with them now when I'm there and I can get here, and then, but then I'm bigger than them, so I don't need them, so now I'm on to the next collab, and it's like, look, it's just super simple. A 35-year-old man talking to a minor, admitting that they were talking to a minor, admitting that it sometimes veered on the inappropriate, I absolutely condemn that. There you go, job fucking done. I wouldn't associate with somebody that would do that type of thing. Easy, super easy, isn't it? But you've got to do all the hand-wringing, and oh, God, it's like, a lot of people have been asking me how this affects me, and obviously it's a tough time, and it's just like, just say that. It's so easy to just do. I just don't get it. I just don't get why it's fucking... And like I say, everyone's going to do this now. All the big streamers are all going to do, like, this, like, ritual where they talk about, oh, well, it's a bloody tough time, but, I just want to let you know that thing that most people I would have no issue condemning, I absolutely condemn it. If indeed it did happen, and the doc has confessed to it and said that it did happen, it's just like, just fucking, it's super. I mean, by the way, maybe you don't need to talk about it at all, right? I'm doing this stream today to clear up some fucking context around how it didn't get out, and I'm gonna end by talking a bit more just about kind of where this puts us all. So. Anyway, but I'll also just say there can be some things that come out of this where you go, yeah, that's kind of, that's a rough one, isn't it? That's a rough one. Because obviously, continuing the meta of talking about this while shirtless, Nick Merckx went and did it. Now, if you don't know about Nick Merckx cares about inappropriate contact with kids. Obviously, he does. He's a fan. He's been very outspoken about it. He wants, he's out there. He's a big fan of Pink Floyd. Teacher, leave those kids alone, right? We all know what he said. We all know what his history is on this issue. Now, unfortunately for him, he assumed that the kind of inappropriate, talking with minors, that would have come from someone in the LGBT community. That's kind of like what he was hedging his bets on. Now it's come from someone he's associated with. Oh, dear. What are we going to do? So he went through a similar, like, uncomfortable fucking squirming. So this is what you got first, right? This was his first react to the story as it broke, right?
Yo, checking in. Look, I opened Twitter. Bunch of my mentions are he, they, she, hey, they, fucking, I identify as a helicopter. God damn it. And I seen the couple tweets about the doc. I'm as taken back as a lot of you guys are, okay? But the fact remains that these are some crazy accusations. Crazy. Big time accusations. And until we know more, until we know them as fact, until they've been proven with evidence, what are we talking about? What's anybody talking about? As far as the leave the little kids alone stuff, this doesn't make it any further from the truth. Leave little children out of your shit. Have a nice day. Yo.
All right, well, listen, okay, but, I get it, right? Facts matter. We have to be accurate about this. This is obviously why journalists didn't report the story at the time, right? So, you know, there we go. Then, obviously, as the story developed, it kind of went to, all right, the doc's sort of saying he did it now. So, let's... What up now, Nick?
Yo, checking in.
Still unable to find a shirt in. Like, listen, I thought these streamers made money, but apparently, like, they need to get down to a fucking Oxfam or something. Like, you know, have a rummage through the fucking charity bins. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yo, checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that, you know, he was texting an underage girl and went weird sometimes, you know, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right?
Right, okay. There we go. No more.
There's no excuse for something like that.
Yep. Yep. No need to elaborate then.
I can't support it. Hang on, honey.
Nobody thought you would.
I'm talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do, you know? So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I mean, look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
Devastated, but not for the reasons that he should be. And this one is obviously going to hit home because, right, you heard what he just said there. I just want to play you I just want to play you what he said at the end, right? Like, because, you know, again, played many games, right? The relationships these people have are just so insane.
Support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, I'm talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played.
Boys are devastated. Tough time for the boys. I mean, now again, we're all supposed to believe that nobody ever heard this rumor until now, right? So nobody heard it out there. You know, Dan Saltman is getting told it on a Rust server, but okay, right? Boys are torn up. Think of the boys.
Played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird, but what can you do?
Feels a little weird. Played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird.
You know, so I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I mean, look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
So, great. Okay, well, so you definitely leave it there. You don't have to then go further and go, I never even really knew him. Because now this makes it look weird. Like, that's that, right? Did this guy, who I've met and interacted with, do this, like, unacceptable thing? Oh, totally disavow, totally disconnect myself from that. That's that. It is going to happen at various times in your life. People they're going to present to you as being this type of person, and you're going to think they're wholesome and nice people, and then they're going to have some fucking sinister, fucked up shit. They're going to do something bad, and you're going to go, shit, well, I never saw that side of them. But you know what? What you then don't do is you then don't sort of dance around it and go, oh, God, it's bloody hell. You have to make a choice. You either say, well, they're my friends, so I guess I'm ride or die with them, and I'm going to co-sign this terrible thing that they did, or you go, nah, actually, I'm out on that one. Right, I'm out after that. And that's it. That's the choice. And it's super easy. No hand-wringing necessary. That's just how you roll on it, right? But we get to this, and by the way, this is you're gonna see lots of footage like this as well. My boy Groomsy with the clip.
We still don't know if he knew she was underage. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. He admitted that in his tweet. Yeah, people are still trying to defend what he did.
Right.
I mean, even he tried to defend what he did in a really odd way in that tweet. Like, he said that he knew that she was underage.
Yeah. Could have said this in the first vid. Or the second
vid. He would still text her. And the text, I can't remember how he put it in his tweet, but what did it say? That the texts would sometimes go a certain way? Yeah, he edited the tweet 3 times. Just so bad. It's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. And look, what do you want from me, man? You know, I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt until we knew more. But look, it's unacceptable when you have just in any world that is unacceptable. You gotta be smarter. You gotta be better. You can't do shit like that. It's not only is it against the law, but where the fuck is your head and your heart at to do things like that? You know?
Right. So By the way, no issue with it with this. This is just what the second video should have been, right? That's the point I'm making with this. But then this part, this is interesting, right?
What are we doing? Why are we doing stuff like that? So to act like I don't care or act like I'm not upset about the shit he did is crazy. You just have to remember that he was a friend of mine. So obviously I'm going to behave a little bit differently. I got some weird fucking, attachments to this. I do. He was a friend. People think that we're like best friends. Like we're
right. So he was a friend. Then people think we were like best friends, but then listen to this.
Hanging out. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig.
Wait, is he a friend or isn't he, blood? Like, what do you mean? I don't even know him outside of a wig. Like, but you're saying you're friends and you got this weird attachment, right? And then
took one picture together and news.
We took one picture. Right, guys, this is a mess. What's going on? You're all over the road here.
And I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together and newsflash, he was in a wig. And we talked for 8 minutes. Now, I don't want to dumb down a relationship and act.
Well, you just did. By the way, if you only ever talk to him for 8 minutes and it's a guy and he was in character, you just go, I don't even know the motherfucker. That's that. I don't even know the motherfucker. Super easy to condemn him for doing the thing he did. Just all over the place. Yeah, he's my friend. So this is what I mean. Streamers just aren't on the same planet as us guys. Like, you have to understand that. They're just not operating on the same level we are, like, in terms of human interaction. Like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Right. So, I don't know what was going on. This is the thing with this. It's like, are you against this, or is it just another culture war football? Like, that's what I want to know. But like, there were so many people that were trying to that were really buying into this idea that there was some sort of conspiracy to take down Dr. Disrespect, right? And I just don't even understand what would be the premise of it to begin with. Like you're already lost in the sauce at that point, right? But let me just show you. So, obviously, I've been on his stream before. I mean, I'm not saying I'm proud of it, but it's the truth. You can make a decision about whether or not that makes me a bad person or whatever. That's fine. That's your choice. But yeah, the quartering. Now, I understand that the doc edited the word minor in and out of it. But like, so when he put this statement up, the quartering replied with firm handshakes, right? Now, obviously, I'm going to assume, and I'm going to give Jerry the benefit of the doubt and fucking say that the word minor wasn't in the tweet at the time he did it, right? I'll try and be as fair to everyone who looked fucking stupid in all of this. But the fact that you were so eager to fall over yourself, to be like, oh yeah, because they're all trying to get him, yeah? They're all trying to get him, yeah, guys. That's what's going on. They're all trying to get him. It's global homo. It's the lefties. They're all trying to take him down. So that they did this. And on top of that, also did, there was this as well. He also did this. And it's like, it's just cringe. It's like he and Miles Chong were fucking Elon Musk. Like, this is some notice me senpai bullshit. Like, look at that. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not leaving. Like, guys, he should be leaving, I think. He probably should have left at the time. I mean, understand, like, and I know this is hard for, like, people to get, but if he had left at the time, then if he just had quit then, there's probably less impetus for people to ever reveal the truth about what happened. None of this is probably happening. His reputation's intact. He's probably leading a good life. But some people can't. The spotlight is just so fucking seductive and people want to be there. It's like, I don't know, I think I'm weird. Like, I was talking to Dan the other day, Dan of the infamous podcast clip, and he was saying, let's get you out to Florida now. Like, get on a plane now. You're going to get all this exposure if you fly out and talk about this with Destiny now. But I don't want to be exposed to the type of people that are going to get psychotic about this. Like, I'm all right, actually. I'll do a video. I'll talk about it. This is it. This is how it was. This is what a journalist did. But I'm sure there are people who would have gone, fuck, do you mean it? Like, I'm all right, man. Like, I'll hop on a stream or something. I'm all right, dude. Like, it can't all be content. Like, all of the time. I'm not wired that way. I never have been. Anyway, So there was that. I mean, if you go on
If
the
you're
internet now,
watching
you'll
this,
find,
then I'm
like, a
already
ton.
dead. Cause of death, the biggest smile the world's ever seen. I'm just pulling your leg. A smile's never killed anyone. Until now! Did that jump scare you? Did that send you to meet your maker? You coward. Grow up. Anyway, the reason I'm so smiley today is because after a long time of R&D testing, getting into the lab, combining chemicals like Professor Utonium, all kinds of advanced quantum calculations that would make Terrence Howard's head spin, we have finally perfected the technology required to allow you to come out of my computer screen and play my claw machine. I'm still pointing the wrong way. To play my claw machine. Completely through the comfort of your own home. This is what it looks like when you play my claw machine. Ignore the webcam there, I didn't realize I still had it turned on, so I'm just looking like a confused cryptid. And also ignore the frames here, it's a little laggy, but that's because my internet's being throttled and I'm downloading a game right now, so it's looking like Redfall here. Going at 5 frames per second, but usually it's nice and silky smooth. Unfortunately, I didn't win anything right there, but I'm just demonstrating how this looks like when you're actually playing the claw machine. It's extremely simple. I'm sure everyone here has played a claw machine at some point, so it's just taking that and digitizing it. Just putting it into the cyberspace so you can play the claw machine behind me during streams. Now, it's not in its final state yet. There's still a couple tweaks and changes we need to make because it is just too hard right now. This makes the Elden Ring DLC look like fucking Farmville. I'm dragging you into the 21st century kicking and screaming. Welcome to the future. Get with the program. We've got AI taking over with all kinds of doohickeys shoehorning AI tech into it. We've got auto blow whatchamahoozits, and now we've got a man, I can't point the right way. We got a fucking claw machine that you can play from your house. I mean, what's next? This kind of magic would have you strung up as a witch a couple hundred years ago, but now, in today's society, it might just have you take home a very expensive item from my claw machine. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is something I've hyped up for like 8 months now, maybe even longer. GamerSupps sent me this claw machine, and we thought it'd be really fun to use it as a really interactive thing for streams, so that way Twitch subs or YouTube members could just endlessly play the claw machine behind me and actually win real prizes out of it. So the idea was to use the cups in there and just put like a note card with a prize on it. And I mean like actually good prizes. So a high-end PC, so a Starforge PC, consoles, Xbox, PlayStation 5, Switch, just like bundles of money in there as well. So if you actually win something, you would get that prize. It tracks who wins, it even plays a cute little animation, and then you would give me the address you want me to send it to, and I'd send it out to you so you'd get your PlayStation, your PC, merch, whatever. And we've been talking on stream about, you know, what would be some cool prizes to see, and we've got some really great fucking ideas. But, like I said, it's a little too hard right now because the GamerSupps cups are very difficult to actually get. Like, to actually pick up with the claw and drop into the victory receptacle. So, the big change we're going to make with that is we're swapping them out with plushies, and I'm just going to tape a note card to it with the prize that you'd win if you win that. That should make it much more achievable. Now, I get this question a lot is, do you have to pay to play it as a Twitch sub or YouTube member? The answer is no. So the way that this works, I'm just going to break it all down. There is a Discord, which I'll put a link to in the description of the video, which is for Twitch subs and YouTube members. When you go to the Discord, it's going to be blank. You have to connect your YouTube account or Twitch account in order to see all the channels. Once you're in there, and once I go live on stream, anyone who's online will enter into a queue system to play the claw machine. And there is a bot that will ping you, send you a DM with a link to play the claw machine when it's your turn. You have a minute to accept the link before it goes to the next person, and if you miss it, well, you just go to the bottom of the queue, and it all just depends on how many people are online and how long I stream for, how many times you can play the claw machine per stream. So it's just a queue system. First come, first serve, it just pings the people, you click the link, you then play the claw machine. If you win, we will then reach out to you to get the address to send the prize to. And that's kind of the way that it works, boiled down into the simplest brass tacks of it. Our engineers really crushed this, to be honest. It wasn't like an easy task, and they nailed it. It's actually working super well. There were a few hiccups along the way that they ironed out super quickly, so I'm extremely happy with how Ian and Nick handled this. Big shout-outs to them for this one. It fucking slaps. So, the reason that I wanted to do this, that we thought it'd be a good idea, is because I've streamed for years. Almost a decade now. And for this entire time, if you subbed to me on Twitch or became a member on YouTube, you got basically fucking nothing for it. Some emotes, whoop-de-doo, yippee, yeehaw, but really nothing super valuable. So I thought this could be a really fun way of making that have some kind of value and some fun, because playing a claw machine is fun, especially if you can win like a big ticket item, you know? Like, to me it just seemed like it'd be a fun thing to do, to say thanks for the support to the subs and members. So hopefully everyone that's been playing the claw machine has been enjoying it. I know no one's won yet because, like I said, it's just too fucking hard. I didn't realize how difficult it would be to win with the Gamer Subs cups in there. I have won one time with the cups, so it is possible, but it's just not really happening. A few hundred subs and members have already played it, and there are still 0 winners. So it will be swapped out with plushies once those come in. For now, it's going to continue to be on Ultra Nightmare mode, I suppose, but it will be tweaked to make it a lot easier to actually win from. So I was just super excited to give you this update that it's fully functional now. It works. So anytime I go live on stream, the claw machine will be turned on and ripped roaring, ready to go. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about. Actually, 2 things. There's one thing that I get asked every single time I go live, and I'm just going to talk about it now. It's about this Gundam right here, and if I've built it, if I plan on building it, like, what's the story with the Gundam? So I want to show you that real quick, because there is a story. So, this Gundam was actually a gift. I used to build Gunpla when I was younger. I haven't really done that in many, many years now, many moons, but when